everybody, it's Pam with Silver and Sparkles, and I am back, and we're going to do a tutorial on how to make this flippy folio. I just did a flip through. It actually was on, today's Monday. I'm filming this on Monday, the day after Mother's Day, and this was up yesterday, and I asked, if you guys want to see how to make it, let me know, and it appeared quite a few people were interested. So I'm going to again show you what it is really quick. It is made with a mailer. So I'm going to show you how to do that. That came through the mail. If you don't have that, you can use chipboard or other paper that would work. So this one, it opens up that way. It has this flip. And then there is a gatefold right here, which is lovely, with a pocket, and we could have added more pockets, right? You can always keep going. There's a pocket here on this flip. I love the papers, the vintage sewing theme and buttons. These are papers by Silvia at Los Mimes Amores, and this is a new one for May 2025. And it is La Mercier Francois. I can't say it, guys. I'm so sorry. Sylvia, forgive me. But I will link it in the description below, and you'll be able to find it. So there you go. I love how you can make the cards. You could also print these, different sizes if you wanted smaller ones. But the images are just gorgeous. So I just clipped this one on with a little ribbon and a charm. So anyway, we'll keep this one close because I may need to look at it as we go. This is one of those projects that I was sitting here. I had two of these. So after I make this one, I'll have to find some more of these or a different type of paper. And I was like, what could I make? And I had no plan. I just started folding and cutting, and that's what we're going to do. I will, for reference, give you the measurement of my lovely folder here, or mailer here, but you really can use whatever you have. I'm going to show you a fold and a cut that's quite simple, and then yours will just be whatever size you started with. So this one looks like it's about 12¼ inches, so you could probably get away with 12 inches. Now this is where it ends up big, and you may have to like patch some cardboard or paper together if you don't have it. Let's see. And it's 18 inches this way. So 18 inches, it was already folded, but this is just the natural fold. And then it's like 12¼ inches this way. Now, all I did was slice off a sliver on either side so it would open up. And then I got rid of the jagged, edgy, chunky part. I am not even sure this one is the same size as the first one I did. So I'm just gonna go with it. I'll give you some measurements, like I said, really just for reference. You use whatever you have. If you have a piece, again, this is kind of big because it's the flyer, and most of our scrapbook paper, or there isn't scrapbook paper that I'm aware of that's 18 inches. But this one is, I will tell you where it's folded at 8½. So this section is 8½, and this section is 9½. All right, and then it's that 12¼ inches tall. Okay, but all you need is a piece. Now I am going to where this fold is. This is where my folio is going to open and close. So it's actually this right here. Now, I'm going to open it up, and then I am just going to fold it in half this way. So this is the opposite of where there was already a crease. I don't know. I hope that makes sense. I will make sure I show it to you guys so you can hopefully, as we go along, see. So basically, you now have four quadrants. Okay, the first thing I am going to do is I'm going to, well, I guess I can try to ink it. I think you guys can see, but I don't know, and I don't want you to not be able to see what we're doing. I'm going to use my Walnut Stain Distress ink. It's a little bit darker, and I like it. There we go. So we have that's the original fold line, right? And then this is where I folded it in half on this long way. So whatever size yours is, you'll just fold it in half. And I do think it's nice that when it's closed this way, like I said, this part is, what did I say, 8.5, and then this one is 9.5. That 1 inch difference, I think, makes the cover interesting. So that's up to you. All right, so when you have a piece that looks like this, we're just gonna make 3 cuts. The first one is we are gonna cut from here up to this score line. And I am gonna like try to go nice and straight and cut it out. Can't really remember what I did. I think I just cut and started folding and playing before. I love creating new ways to use things that would just end up in the landfill, right? And new folios and all that kind of stuff. Okay, now we are going to make 2 more cuts. We're going to make 1 cut from this edge in and 1 cut from this edge in. Now, I just picked. I am going to make a mark though this time, and I'll tell you where I'm making the marks. But again, I just kind of eyeballed it and thought, well, that looks good. But I'm going to come in. I sort of looked at my prototype, and these are approximate. They're not exact. I'm going to come in 4 3/4. So I'm going to make a cut from here to that little line. Then I'm going to start at the middle line on this one because they're a little different. And this one I'm going to come over 5 and I wanted to do like 5 3/8. So in between 5 1/4 and 5 1/2. So I just made a mark at those 2 places so I know where to stop cutting. So just start on the edge and cut right in the middle of that score line if you can. And if we need to do some trimming in a minute, we will. So now we have some little flaps, and then turn it this way, and you're going to cut right up to that other mark. So now your cardboard should look like this. Okay, now let's do this flap first. This one is going to fold up, and then we are just going to fold it over, you know, just to where it's cut, and just try to make it look neat. And this is going to become a pocket. It'll be glued, and this is going to flip down. This is going to be our flip down. And this is what I mean. If we need to trim some things up, we can. I don't believe any of these are, you know, perfect. And if they're hanging over a little, we'll clean them up. All right. Now, this piece is just a little different. All you do is, instead of folding it up, you're going to fold it back. Just like that. And now close it. And now this one... I think I came over too much. I cut too much. It's okay. I am going to not worry about where it's cut at, and I'm just going to decide how far over I want to come. I should have only cut to here. So let me open it up and show you. Instead of making my mark at 4 3/4, I should have done 3 1/2. Okay. Now I am going to take a little bit of, in fact, I'm not going to use washi tape. I am going to use a little bit of this tape. And it's going to be okay. It's not going to be a big deal, but I'm just going to help reinforce it, I'm just going to put a piece of tape right there. And do another layer. Okay. Because I don't have another flyer and I don't want it lifted up. Okay, so again, We're going to fold back. And then we're going to fold this way. And now we're right here. And this is going to be that flip, that, you know, that flappy. And this is a pocket. So this is actually going to be glued here and here. So it's going to be nice and secure. It's not going to be a problem that I miscut, okay? So again, you can eyeball where you want to do yours, and it'll be great. Now, it's kind of hard to see how fabulous this is going to be until we start getting it covered. But this is the basic fold. Now, I don't want to be gluing things until I do some layering, because sometimes I wrapped the paper around, sometimes I didn't. You know, it just depended. And so I'm going to wait to glue my pockets down. All right. So let's just start with the cover, because that will be the easiest. Now, what I did is I took papers from the kit. This is going to be our gatefold, so let me set that aside. And all I did was like cut around the white part, or some of them I did a ruler tear. So there's no, I haven't prepped the paper except to do that. I'm going to have to look at, because I wasn't sure if this was going to end up the same size, so I didn't want to cut all my pretty paper and it be the wrong size. I hope that makes sense. All right, so I really liked, I used this piece for this front part of my cover in the original one because I loved that stain right there. I thought, ooh, that looks really cool. Let's see. This piece would be nice too, and we get a little bit of pink. Let's use this one this time. I used my ruler and tore it, but I'm actually gonna do a little bit of cutting right there. And go ahead and cut these apart. Now, so how I decide what size to make this is going to be a pocket. This is not going to flip down. So I only need it to go in just a little bit. And then I can wrap this one around the edge. And I did that here. I wrapped it around the edge. And I didn't glue it down until I decided which edge I wanted to show. So I am going to take my paper and use my Folio to help me. And I'm just going to now tear the top. I'll save that. Hopefully I didn't get it too short. And it is a little short, so let me show you how to fix that, or how I fix things like that. I grab some washi tape. And again, this is some of the washi tape from IB. And I will put in the description, down in the description, my affiliate link and the 30% off coupon code. So if you need or want some washi tape, you can take a look. All right, so I'm just going to add probably a couple of different ones. And just cover it up a touch. I don't care if you see some of the mailer, but you know, I'm just gonna patch it up here, just a touch. All right, and then this is gonna slide under this layer, just like that. All right, and this is also where, remember I said if we need to, we're gonna trim it up. I'm gonna cut out this score because it is showing and I don't like it. All right. Nope, I'm not. This is the correct way. I apologize for the flipping and the flapping. Okay. So this is going to look great and it's going to go right there. All right. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to put a piece of washi tape just in case that red, you know, the other thing is I can carefully pull this layer off of my folder. And then I think we're in business. Now I don't have the worry about that red. Okay, so a little bit of distress ink. We can also distress after. And we're going to glue it down. So I am going to use my PVA Line Co glue. This is the one that I use the majority of the time. Use whatever glue you want. Especially on this edge, would use like tape or a good glue adhesive like this. If you want to use like some glue stick, and then around the edges use something a little stronger, that's a good option. Okay, now this piece, and you do see the washi tape, and I kind of like that. This piece is going to wrap around this edge like this. Remember I said it's a little short. And then I'm going to cover this panel, and I may have this underneath, or I may wrap this around the panel, and I don't know yet. So again, I'm just going to leave it just like this until I decide. Okay? Now, for this piece, I need another, another lovely, and I like using, it's almost, I think it's like somebody's journal. Obviously it's in French and not my language. So I'm just guessing, but it looks like it's someone's journal. I am making a little mark, and this time I'm going to use my paper trimmer and try to get it a little closer to the size that I need. And I'm going to allow this one to also wrap around the page. Okay. Now, if this little bit of yucky bothers you, it's bothering me. So again, I'm going to grab a piece of washi tape just so I don't see it on that edge. All right. All the wonderful uses for washi tape, right? And it's going to be sandwiched in here, so I'm not too worried about it lifting up or anything. Okay, so now I'm just going to ink this one. And again, it's larger than the flap because I'm going to wrap it around the edge. And this paper is printed, or these digitals are printed on 90-pound white cardstock, and it's the Nina brand. It's in my Amazon storefront, and it's not super, super, super thick, but it's definitely cardstock. You know, it's not just printer paper. But I don't think it adds too much bulk. All right. Now remember that this is going to end up becoming a pocket over here. This is going to just wrap around. See, it folds pretty easily. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead. Well, let me wait. I was going to go ahead and glue this down and make this pocket, but let me see what paper I'm going to layer here first, because depending on this edge, I might wrap it around. I don't know. So I'm going to grab another paper from the kit, and I believe this is the one I used. I loved having that purple flower on this edge that you could see. I think I may just ink this one and not worry about wrapping this edge, because it's the, like the natural color, and it's not bothering me. All right, so let's go ahead and close our pocket up. All right, so we are back to, this is our cover. This is how your folio is going to open up, and this is going to be a flap. This is going to be a pocket. So I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to add glue here and here. All right, and it's a pretty deep pocket. If you want to shorten the pocket up, you could bring your glue in some. Now this is still open, not a problem. And we're just going to let that stick, and then you'll be able to see we have a pocket. But I got to let the glue stick. Okay, so while that is doing that, let's layer some paper here. I am going to trim off that little piece of white that was left there. And let's measure this panel. It is 4 7/8. So I'm going to make my paper almost 4 7/8 by 6 1/8 is about what it is. So I will go for 6 inches. And I'm pretty sure I said 4 7/8. I'm just going to come just a smidge off 4 7/8. And let's see if it worked. So I want to glue it right in here, not past that score. We're good. I need a piece for in here as well. So this piece needs to be at least 2.5 inches. It can be a smidge bigger. And again, that's 6 1/8. So is this the 6? Yes. I will just use this piece right here. That works. Okay. Didn't know that was going to work. I didn't remember that, but I'm happy about it. I am happy about it. I've got too many supplies out right now. Okay, so real quick, let me just ink my edges. If you don't want to ink yours, you don't have to. And guys, you can always, I try to always mention this, use whatever paper makes you happy. If you like this kit and want this kit, great, and you could use it, but use whatever papers you have. This is, again, this one you could piece together with some scraps, and it would be fun. Just a nice scrappy, upcycled mail folder, right? Okay, so all we're gonna do here, I'm going to glue this one down and have this, see the flap that came over. So, I don't know if you guys can see my score line right here. I'm not going to be able to ink it now. I should have inked it before I got started. But I will just add glue to the paper. And there we go. And then I'm going to add glue to this flap. This is the flap right here that we did on the front. So if you're enjoying the video, enjoying my channel, I hope you will give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment. And if you haven't already, I hope you'll consider subscribing. It helps and makes a difference. I have so much fun with you guys just about every day. And it means a lot. So thank you. Oh, I love that. And I really like the washi tape edge there. That blue just kind of blends right in, doesn't it? Okay, and we'll decorate and everything in a little bit. All right, now we're gonna layer here. So I hope this is showing you that once you get the folio constructed out of whatever, chipboard. I mean, this one you probably make, with some kind of cereal box, something like that. If you don't have a mail, you'll probably figure out a piece of a shape that would work, right? But once you get it going, it really is just the fun part of layering and decorating. All right, this is having trouble, and I think it's because of the washi tape. So I am going to it's going to take up a little bit of my pocket, but I am going to grab a small piece. I'm going to lift up where I glued it down. And we're gonna just, it's sticking, the cardboard part is sticking. It's where I have that washi tape is the problem. And I may need just another little smidge. And it probably left alone, and if I put a clip on it, would hold. But I'm just gonna do this and get that smushed down. Okay, lots of layers going on here. Okay, there's always a solution though. You can figure it out. All right, I'm happy. I think this is looking good. And we'll come back to the front. So fun. So now let's pick a panel. Now I used, for these two panels, I used these pages in the original. And I think ended up doing some layering or something. I can't remember, to make them big enough. This one is long enough. All right, so let's just do this one first. Got to decide if I want the sewing machine or if I want the dress over here. We'll just do the sewing machine. I think that's what I did last time too, but that's okay. All right, again, this is that 6 1/8. So I am going to come just shy of 6 1/8 and chop it off. I'm going to go ahead and measure this one to make sure. Again, the whole thing is not the most precise, but I'm going to go ahead and get this one ready since we have the chopper out. And you'll need to measure yours. So I'm not going to list the measurements this time in the description because it's really going to depend on your piece of cardstock. All right, we need some ink. And really, I just have to worry about inking the 3 sides that we're going to see. Because I'm going to have this little flap fold over like I did before. I liked that. Cute, right? So cute. I could also turn it this way. I'm going to do it this way. Okay, so just glue on this piece to layer. Ooh. It is amazing, I think, how fun the flips and, you know, the little folios, you know, it makes it instead of just, you know, it opening up straight. All right, I am coming, don't pass the score line, but right up to that score line, trying to put it down somewhat straight. There we go. And the paper sticks really well to this side of the mailer. It just kind of soaks the glue up. Okay, now I have this weird corner here. And so I'm probably going to make a little corner. Why not, right? So I could just do that, or I could be cute and just make a little triangle and ink it. I could do a contrast. That would look cute. Maybe I'll do that. Hold on. Instead of that paper. I don't know what I'm going to use all of these for yet. You know what? Let's wait. You know what? I'll forget. I'll forget. So let's do something fun. Let's cover the little triangle we made with some washi tape. Why not, right? So that will be the contrast. And I'm not going to wrap it around to the back because I want it to stick down nicely. So I'm just going to turn it over and cut it out. Since I was having a little trouble with that pocket sticking, I don't want to risk this lifting up. Would that be cute? See if it'll pick up some ink. And we'll just cover that up. We won't even remember why we have that detail, except that it's cute. All right, this is where we're gonna have our gatefold there. Now, let's go ahead and get the paper laid down here. And I remember what I did. I used a smidge of this. And did I do a finger tear? Let me see. Oh, I did. Yeah, I did finger tear. I did a tear on this edge. I'm going to put the torn edge over here this time. I think that'll look great. So I need to get this to the correct height, which is just a little under 6 1/8 inches. And then I'm just going to do a fun tear like this. And add some ink. And that will make the paper big enough to cover this back panel. Because remember, this one is the 9.5 inch section. There we go. That'll be cute. You can put it on either end, obviously. I'm just going to do it a little different. I love all the vintage sewing images in the kit. And I've been kind of on that kick lately. My mom loved to sew and was a wonderful seamstress. And I didn't get that gene, but of course I like to craft and create, and you know, we're all, you know, have different artistic gifts, I think, but she definitely could do amazing things with fabric. And all of these things remind me of her and my grandmother. So it's a lot of fun. I posted this and on Mother's Day yesterday, and one of my cousins said, "This reminds me of our grannies." They were sisters. My grandmother was Opal, and her grandmother was Nancy Bell, and they were sisters and best friends. And they were, I believe, 5 of them, right? So there was, is it 5 children? Let me think. Nancy Bell, Opal, Ruth, Kit is their brother. Maybe there were 4 of them. Oh gosh, I hope I'm not forgetting. I'll have to think about that. I think there was 4 of them. My father was one of 5. Okay, this panel is now covered and again can be decorated. Now, I really, really liked how this turned out. So I'm going to do this in a similar way. I'm trying to decide. I could use the pink buttons this time instead of the kind of the blue or cream. I don't know, but I love those. And then have the pink ones here. I don't know. So these are my choices. I have, what do I have? I have pink. And then I have, where'd the blue ones go? Oh, here they are. And the blue, right? And the blue one I had to cut down, and then I took the Paris Chic and put it on the side. But I think they're approximately, yeah, they're about the same size, so I could do the pink. I'm just going to stay with the blue. We're just going to end up doing it the same way. It will be fine. Wherever these end up, they won't be together, so it'll be okay. All right, so not that you can't have 2 things together. I'm going to cut out, it looks like, I'm hoping this is about the same size. If not, I will adjust in a minute. And just, I'm cutting it out, and then I will have this piece for some other things. And that's the back that kind of shows you where they were sewn on, which is so fun. All right, and I'm going to, I think I did this with my ruler and I kind of liked the tear, so let's try it. We'll be careful. I want to keep the bow right at the top. and then I'll just trim it off. Okay, and now I have this piece that I can decorate this pocket with as well. Yeah, it's close enough. All right, this is the one where, again, I have not cut out that score, and it's kind of all ruffly, so I am going to take just a moment and trim that out. And this is going to get glued down to be a pocket. So I'm going to layer some paper under here first before I glue it down. Now this is a little bit too big. So I'm going to take, I could use my trimmer, but I'm just going to take another sliver. And then the tiniest of slivers on this side. All right. The height, it's a tiny bit short, but that is so close in color, I don't think it's gonna matter. All right, some ink. Oh gosh, I'm laying my folio over my ink pad. I hope I didn't get it dirty. Okay. So fun. And this video is probably going to end up being a little bit longer simply because like I said, I wasn't able, or I didn't prep all of the paper because I wasn't sure if this was going to have the same precise measurements. And I like a project, like I can walk over to my stash of, you know, boxes, chipboard, whatever, and pull another piece out and make the same idea, and it'll just end up being a different size if my paper started, or my cardboard started off a different size, you know. And I love having projects like that I don't really have to worry about the measurements, and I can just fold it, make those simple cuts, and be done with it, right? All right, I really liked having the branding. I don't know where I put it up here last time. It looked pretty good. Let's bring it down just because we can. So fun. All right, now I need another piece. Ooh, maybe this time I will use like the backing. I used a piece of this paper, this piece last time, and that looked nice too, didn't it? It ended up being like this. I think I like this one better. It's not quite as dark. And it's already trimmed to the correct size. It doesn't matter that it has that torn edge. We won't see it because we're going to glue this down as a pocket. But let me get this on here before we do that. And this is what I'm saying about waiting to glue everything down, because if I'd already glued this down, I'd have to get a piece of paper that would fit right in there. And that's a lot more challenging than the way I'm doing it, I think. And of course, this paper could be a little bit smaller to cover this section. Okay, we're gonna glue this pocket down. So we open it up and we just need glue here and here. Now I am thinking I may have to trim this pocket. Bring the glue down just a touch. And the glue oozes. All right. This is where I'm saying I may have to trim. See how it's just off just a smidge. But this is why we have scissors. It's not a problem. Most things, in my experience with crafting, are fixable. We are getting there, you guys. All right, so now we have this pocket. Oops, don't lift it up, Pam. All right, let the glue hold. So fun. I'm very excited. All right, so now we're going to cover this panel. What did I do? I think I just picked some more paper and some of the labels and I went for it. So let's use, we haven't used this paper yet. So let's use a piece of this. Let me measure. Pretty sure, yep, this is 6 1/8. So when I folded it in half, it was 12. It was 12 2/8. All right, a little. I'm gonna leave that torn edge there. Come over just a touch. All right. And then let me measure how wide it is. It is almost 5 1/2. So we're gonna go a smidge under 5 1/2. Just a smidge. All right. Now we have a piece here. And we can layer and add a pocket and things. Now that we have the cover, we have one more piece that has to be covered, and that's the back. So we will do that as well, and then come through, do our gatefold, add a pocket, and see where we're at. Okay, fun. Glue. That fits in there nicely. Couldn't tell this was an ugly UPS mailer, could we? Oh, look, UPS. So we need to cover this up. I don't want to look at that. All right, so I'm looking for another larger piece. All right, I have this piece. And there's this, you know what, we'll patch something right in there. I think this was supposed to be like, you know, for a signature in a journal, but we're going to use it because it is the right length or width or whatever. And now we just have to do that 6 1/8 for the height. And we get to use this fabulous, it is too big for this trimmer. That trimmer is just about perfect for me when I'm doing this kind of crafting, but it was just a smidge. So I'm gonna use the grid. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 1/8 should be right about here. Let's hope I've got it right. If not, I guess we'll have to patch it. There we go. It works. All right, so I know that white strip is there, but we're gonna fix that. So wait just a minute. We can always do some washi tape, but I'm thinking another piece from one of the other pages. I can just do a tear strip and we can put on there. We could also probably put one of the decorative elements on there as well. Cute. All right, so I definitely want this one to stick down. This would be not a bad idea if you wanted to just add a little two-sided tape and then a little glue on top so you got that wiggle room to just get this one down, but it'll be okay. I'm just going to town with my glue. Okay. I really like this little piece on this like collage here. And then get that glue all smushed and oozed everywhere. See it? I think we're good. All right. Yeah, that's looking great. Now, to cover this piece, I think what I will do is I'm going to do a finger tear. And I could have done something with a lot more contrast, but I think this will look kind of interesting. If not, we'll pick something else. Just getting a little bit of this. It was like the border. So I have text. Yeah, that'll be interesting. Let me get this other little stain here, which I like. I'm just gonna lay this here and we're gonna glue this down after I add some distress ink so it kind of stands out like a little feature. So I hope if my grandma and my Aunt Nancy Bell and my Mama Sally and my Grandma Sarah Jo, if all of these ladies, my Aunt Margaret, who also loved to craft and sew, could be here and watch and have spent Mother's Day with us, they would have said, yes, Sylvia, these papers are just beautiful. Let's make a project, right? Okay. Yeah, I like that. So again, we don't even know that that white strip was there. Okay, and now it is decorating time. I do want to show you how to do the gatefold. That's important. So let's get to that next, because that feature, and then everything else really is just how ephemera and things like that. So let's do the gatefold. So what I used for that from this kit is there was a page like this. Aren't they cute? I picked the same ones again. The only thing I did to prep it is I cut it out, and it measures, right now, it measures 7.5 by 4 3/4. And I glued it to a piece of book page because I didn't print on both sides. And I wanted it to be a little, you know, not just white on that side. All right, now, I think I'm going to do it a touch different than I did the prototype, just because when I went to put the eyelets in, you can see mine are a little off. It was hard after everything was glued down, so I'm probably going to punch the holes and set the eyelets before I attach everything. But let me show you what I did. You can see the border that I left on. I didn't cut it out right to the cards. What we're going to do is I am going to score. Let me see if it'll work on my scoreboard. I'm just going to score in the, hopefully in the center of that section to, well, I didn't need to score, to cut it there. So now I know where to cut, right? Where I need to score is right at the edge of the card. So the right edge of this card and the left edge of this card. And again, I'm just using my scoreboard to do it. I want this one's skinnier. It works. It's fine. It's just how the paper printed. Okay, so that's going to be a hinge that's going to hold our gatefold down. If you want to, you can, like this one isn't lining up really with a score, but I was able to kind of just smush it over. You could use your ruler and a straight edge, something like that, a stylus to score it. I just wanted to make it a little easier for me to fold, and it got off just a little, but I will ink that and we won't see it. All right, now instead of scoring in the center, I want to cut in the center. But now I have that lovely score line, and I'm just going to cut it right there. That's going to be the center. Now, if you don't want this trim showing, you can cut it off and have the cards, but right up next to each other. I liked having that little bit of trim. I thought it looked interesting. So I'm going to leave mine like that again. But again, if you don't want to see this, you can trim that off. All right. Get some ink on those edges. Now, the other thing I did was I did a little teeny tiny miter. So this is where they come together in the center. Don't cut those sections. But these that are folded back, I'm just going to trim the corner just a touch. And the same on this one. Now, this one's wider. We have a little more room to work. And I probably, on this one, instead of cutting it just on the blue, because you're not going to see that, I could have left it wider on the printed page. I didn't think about it. But if you want more of a hinge, you can do that. See how this one's super skinny? Or you can make this one match this one. Do I give you guys too many options sometimes? I don't know. This is how my brain works, though, is I'm sitting here and I'm thinking through all the different ways we could do this or make it different. And I know I need to just kind of stick with this is how you do it for this project. And then we can do a different project with my multiple variations and ideas. All right, let me get some ink on here because I did not fold that the best. But you know what? It looks fine now that it has ink on it. Okay. Now, what I did then is I glued these in. And before I glue these in, because I know I want to punch holes and have eyelets for a ribbon closure, I'm going to do that next. If you don't want to do a ribbon closure, then you can skip this part if you don't want to do the eyelets. And I'm hoping this time I can get them centered better. So, or at least even, right? So, I'm just thinking for a second of how I'm going to do that. I think I am going to, they don't have to necessarily be perfectly centered top to bottom. I'm looking at my images as well. Where I want them even is to each other and the same distance from the edge. So I am going to put a little dot just to the right of the line here, and I'm going to do the same thing here. And now hopefully when I punch my holes and we set these eyelets, I will not have it, because I can get to everything much easier because it's not glued down. All right, we'll try it. So now I'm just going to punch the holes where I made the marks, and hopefully they look pretty even. And then I'm going to pull out some eyelets. And I'm going to use the ones, I think this color, the kind of coppery color, looks great with these papers. The gold would be really pretty too. Oh, we'll do gold this time. Why not, right? And these are the ones that I found on Amazon. I think they were like a little more than $5 for a pretty big pack. And I told you guys, and they have other colors, but they're an off-brand, and it's working. So far, it's been working great with my crocodile. Of course, I said that, and I didn't even have this on the right setting. So hopefully, if you were looking for wide eyelets, look how pretty they're setting. These are working for you too. And I'll try to remember to link them in the description, but they are in my Amazon storefront, and that's always linked in the description of my videos. Okay, let's see. They definitely look straighter than the ones in my prototype. Once you put the ribbon on, it really didn't matter, but all right, so let's open up. This is where I want the gatefold to be, and decide where I want to install it. I like it about right there. So I'm going to add glue just to the hinge. And again, make this with any paper you want. It doesn't have to be cards, just you can make a gatefold with any kind of pattern or paper that you like. Paper that makes you happy. Whoa, it moved. Ah. This is where our glitter glue, when I'm on camera especially and trying to move quickly, is sometimes a better choice because it won't do that. It grabs really fast. Okay, but then it's also nice to have the flexibility when you need to move it. So, all right, so this one I'm going to use the one I've already glued down to help me get it lined up. Okay, look at that. Loving it, loving it. And then I believe all I did, yeah, I just put a little pocket in here. And I don't even know if I printed all of those pieces out. We can use just about anything to make a pocket. I think I'm gonna make one out of this card. I want that color. Look Do I want to, yeah, I'll use this color. I'm going to trim it off like this. Make it a little bit shorter. And then, you guessed it, I'm going to do another finger tear. So to kind of bring that look, that feel through. And then my pocket also will not be as deep. So this is going to become a very simple pocket. Glue on 3 sides. All right, and it's going to be hidden underneath this little gatefold, and we'll slide these in. So we have something to put in there. Cute. And then we'll add a piece of seam binding ribbon. Hopefully I cut it long enough. All right. And I'm just leaving it loose. If it comes out when I open it, it's fine. And then I just put it back. The seam binding makes a nice little bow, but it's not too bulky because the ribbon itself is so thin. Cute, right? And after this is here a while, it all lays down much better after it's closed up. Okay, so then on this one, I did add a pocket here. Like I said, I don't think I cut out all of the papers this time. Let's use one of these flower. Should I use a flower card or should I? Thinking I might make the pocket a little bit bigger with this and then put that on top as a decoration. So I'm just gonna eyeball it. Let's make it. I know that panel is like 6 1/8. So we'll just do this. Yeah, so that way we still see some of the image underneath. Yeah, that'll be pretty. And I think I'll just put this on top to decorate it. And we'll glue this one down. Like I said, on the, what we need to do a little bit to the front, of course. And then it'll be just making the ephemera pieces that we want to add in the pockets and clip on. This back panel, I decorated it with something, I can't remember. And then I'm gonna kind of put that offset. And then I just clipped that really big pink button card on there, which for me was enough. You can add additional flips, pockets, pages, whatever you want to here, okay? All right, I'm going to bring this to the left. I want it open on this side, so I'm going to hold it on that edge. Glue on 3 sides. And I am going to bring it in a little bit so this pocket isn't quite so deep. All right. And this is left open. Okay, and we'll let it dry before we mess with it too much. Okay, let's go back to the front. Now the front, I really did love using these little, I don't know what they are. I think they were part of packaging or a tab or something. I used them on the edges here and I just thought they looked really cute. So I'm gonna do that again. I liked it, so I just cut them out the way they printed, and I'm folding them in half. And they don't have to be perfect because I'm just gluing them where they don't have to match up. They're not going to hang off the edge. You'll see what I mean here in a second. I am doing it, you know, all the way on the paper, not where it's going to hang off like this and if they don't match. I hope that made sense. Okay, and this one comes right up to our gatefold, and that's fine. Bring it down just a touch. All right, so I'm going to glue one side. Would help to have a little bit of glue on that little edge there. Now we're going to open it up and we'll be able to glue it here. And I really, because I made such cute little cards for the pocket, see, I didn't worry about decorating this panel anymore. I thought it was fine. So let's do this one. And I have no idea. I should pay attention to what time it is when I start so that I know how long we've been crafting, right? Okay, and then this one, I just did the same thing, wrapped it around. We'll glue it on this side first. But it's a nice, I think it's a nice embellishment. Super easy. Now, on the prototype, I had that fabulous little ribbon clustery thing that I thought went really well. Now, the other ones that I made off camera are these. When I was making that one too. I like this one. The purple kind of goes with the blue. This one is really fun and vintagey. We don't have to use one. I mean, I could put something else here. I'm just trying to decide. I think I'm going to put this on there just because why not? And it's cute and fun. I like it being oriented with this label somehow. I don't know. All right, and because it's on paper, I can just use this glue. I don't have to have my hot glue or, you know, heavy duty adhesive. So I'm just gonna go for it. It was just on a piece of scrapbook paper. Cute. Yeah, I love it. All right, and then on here, I grabbed a couple of these. I just thought it was nice to have something to look at. I was kind of seeing this as a journaling spot. It's pretty neutral. We could add more paper, you know, more neutral paper if we wanted to, but I'm gonna leave it. I think it's pretty. And again, later, whoever's using this, if it's me or if I end up giving it away or whatever, the other, you know, that individual can say, you know what, I do need another little text pocket or another little pocket here because I want to put, you know, some of my items in here. And leaving it with a few options like that, I think is nice, right? Because I don't know what size pocket that they're going to want. I just thought of something, and I think I have it sitting here. Do I? Forgive me, I'm looking for a little treasure of mine. I think I have it. That I'm going to grab. I showed you guys this in a video. But I'm getting them back out. These are the lovely vintage buttons. I didn't think about this when I made the first one that June sent me. And I said, I don't think I can use them. They're absolutely too beautiful. But look, I think my pockets are roomy enough. Look at this. This one is very fragile. Whew. I may have to... We're gonna repair it, and I think I would rather do that and know there's a piece of tape on the back than it cracking. There we go. And I lose that corner. Okay, now I'm happy. Okay, so those two I'm gonna put there. Look how cute. And then when I open this one up, this one's a little fragile too, but I think it's all right. I think these can fit in here. And how about these? Oops, the pocket's this way. All right, this one may be a little too chunky for that pocket because I have some in here as well. If we put something else there, I think we could have like at least one of these in here. Now, if I had made the pockets a little bit roomier, it might work better. Oh, I'm so excited. This is so cute. There, I don't even have to stick the buttons down in there. June, if you're watching, this one is definitely gonna be mine, and I'm gonna save it and have my beautiful buttons you gave me in here to look at. All right, so that one's there. Let's see. All right, I think on this one, I haven't made the big card yet. I'm going to. I'm gonna glue them back to back and then make it look raggedy like I did the other one and clip it on here like this. But I'm not going to do it on camera right now. I will do it in a few minutes when I'm done. And we'll add a little, you know, ribbon and charm. So let's see. I want to put these in, hopefully. They can just... I put them in upside down like that. Look. Oh my goodness, everybody. Such a fun opportunity to explore. This one, I'm going to make a couple of these flat button cards that can fit in this pocket. So that pocket's not empty. We've got buttons here. We'll have this clipped here. I love it. I love it. Let's go ahead and add a little piece of ribbon to our little paper clip here. It's almost finished. We got really close. And honestly, that big jumbo pink button card, all I do is glue it back to back and then again trim it out to make it look loved. Make it look old and loved. Gently aged, right? And then, you know, just have it kind of clipped on. And then the charm, all I did for the charm was use a bulb pen. And I wish somewhere I thought I had some gold ones. You know, I'm sure I do, but yeah, I have a gold one on here. So where are the gold ones, Pam? Hold on. I don't know if I'm going to be able to put my finger on them. And that's it. We'll just use one of these. I could mix silver, but I'll go with that. And we'll add a little charm. And I think if I go with a tiny charm that's more of this color, you won't really think about the fact that it's not gold. So let's see, what little charm. Some of these I don't like at all. This is what happens when you end up just getting a kit. Here, here's a little flower. Some of them just aren't my style, so I need to give them to people that would enjoy them. All right, cute. And all I did then was clip it. I didn't even really put it in the ribbon. I just clipped it on the paper clip like that so that it really dangles. And now my ribbon's acting funky. You know what? I think I do need to put it I did not on this one, and it's working fine. So, well, we'll try it. If it flies off, I'll put some through the ribbon. Okay, I hope you love it as much as the original. I ended up using my vintage buttons from June instead of making a bunch of the ephemera, but I just think it's fabulous. I love it. I hope you guys do too. Until I see you again, I hope you have a wonderful, beautiful day. I appreciate you spending some time with me today. Take care.